what's up guys, this is Dr. McFarland and we're going to look at the Gigboard going into the effects loop of a Peavey Bandit 112 with a teal stripe. Let's listen to a little bit of our chorus. And let's do some delay. Alright, let's try some tremolo and delay. And let's make this at the very end. That's great. Now how about some reverb here? Let's crank up this hall. Turn the tone down a little bit. Let me turn the mix of that down. Alright, so how I have this set up is I'm doing the send from the effects loop on the amp to the input of the Gigboard right here. Then the output of the Gigboard going into the return of the effects loop on the amp. So it's a very simple setup. Let's go ahead and play with the gain channel and a little bit of delay on the Gigboard. Alright, let's see what happens if I put an effect in there that I normally like in the front end of the amp, but now it's going to be in the effects loop. Let's try a phaser. Orange phaser, mono. We'll have... Alright, so now let's try this. We're going to have everything go to the front of the amp now. So with this setup, I'm going guitar into input. So now the output of the Gigboard is going into the effects return of the amp. So no send, just effects return. Let's see what that does. So now we're going to experiment with putting the Mission Engineering pedal, which is the Mission Aero SPHR. So we're going to put that into the chain. So we have to have a stereo cable for this. And we're going to go expression out. So we're going to use a volume pedal. Default expression. So I actually think this is a pretty good setup right here. Just using the effects return of the amp, not having any amp sims or cab sims, just only using effects. You can use this with the Headrush pedal board as well, and you can create a lot of different scenes and have different combinations of effects on or off, which is actually kind of cool. So let's say, for example, that we're gonna, that's not what I want to do. We're going to edit. We're going to turn the DC distort off. We're going to use a volume pedal on, a little bit of reverb, delay off, chorus off, Tron. Well, I'm not going to use the Tron filter. Orange off. So here's a clean patch. Okay. Alright, so the volume pedal works really well. Let's go into another scene. We're going to make a scene here. We're going to say trim delay. And we're going to turn the DC distort off, orange off, Tron off, volume on, multi-chorus off, delay on, reverb on, tremolo on, amp off. Now the Gigboard can change the channels on the amp as well, so that's kind of cool. But we're not going to do that today because I don't want to use a 4-cable method because then that will defeat the tails. Gig effects only. Okay, so there's that. So now we got trim delay. So I can do my volume swells. This thing is very, very smooth. I like the feel of it. The extra dip on the back of the heel there really makes it comfortable underneath the foot. So I know there's cheaper options out there, but you really get what you pay for with this thing. It's really good. Alright, let's go in and make a overdrive patch. Alright, here's scene 3. Alright, that sounds good. Let's change the name of that. So we're going to call, let's call it Dr. Dirt. Bam, because I'm that doctor. And that right, Lily Kate? Yeah, you know it. She knows it. We're going to make all these orange as we can. We like orange, don't we? Alright, we're going to do another edit. Alright, so now we're going to hit that. And it's very swirly. So back to clean. And tremolo with delay. And dirt. Alright, all that that sounds great into the effects return. Let's try it into the front end of the amp. And this is going to be a clean amp. No overdrive channel or anything. So for you guys that just want to use like a Fender twin reverb or any amplifier with no effects return or no effects loop, then this is what you would do. You just go guitar to input, output to input of the amp, then just use all your effects on here for that. So, oh yeah, Lily K, that sounds great. Ooh! That sounds so good. It's getting loud, I know. Alright, go back to clean here. Yeah, so for you guys that just want to use a regular amp with no effects return, maybe like your Fender Twin or a Fender Deluxe or any combo amp kind of thing. So you would be very well off if you just showed up to a gig and you had a back line on stage. Just plug straight into the front end of an amp or the effects return if it has it, and just use the Gigboard or the pedal board for effects. You don't even have to have an amplifier in the chain at all. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And then when you're using scenes, you don't have to worry about 4-cable method and any of that kind of stuff. And since we're using a real amp, we don't need a cab sim. So let's go ahead and just have fun. And let's play around with putting this back into the effects loop. Like so. And then we're going to add an amplifier. So let's say we want to make this sound like an AC30. Okay, we'll crank the gain up a little bit here. Alright, that sounds really good. So now let's say we want to keep everything about that, but now we're going to change to gig effects. Let's do a Bogner. So we can keep all the other stuff intact. We'll do like a blue channel. See what happens here if I turn that volume down. Alright, very cool. Alright, so this kind of setup is great for guys that has an amp they like, and it also has an effects loop. So you're just basically using the amp as a power amp and using a real speaker, plugging into the effects return, and only using the Gigboard or pedal board for your effects and maybe some preamplifier kind of changes. Because when you're bypassing the the front end of your amplifier, this is providing the tone stack. So, all right, let's do one more. Let's say gig effects mezza. Okay, so maybe this will be your lead tone or something. Okay, M2 lead. We're gonna get brutal. Not sure why that tremolo was on. Let's edit. Amp on tremolo, no change. No wonder. It's got to be off, folks. They'll relocate. Alright, so now. That is hot loud. Hot loud. Hot Lana. Alright, that's actually kind of fun. Let's change out this pedal for a tube screamer. Because we can. And I'm actually going to go to my Doc Scream preset. Oh, okay. Hardware change, edit. We're gonna take off that green on that one. We're gonna say this one's gonna be off. Dirt, this one's gonna be definitely on. Amp is gonna be on. Yep. And that one's going to be off for that one. Alright, so back to clean. Here's our effects only. And this one's using the AC boost. We can crank up that a little bit. Alright, so you see what I'm doing? Once I've made my rigs, now I'm just kind of tweaking little things about it. Just to Alright, so let's say this is your set of tunes that you want to use a Vox AC30 on. Then you can go in, let's say I want to use a Bogner now. Alright. I'm not playing it that great today. And then the Mezza Boogie. Alright guys, so that is the end of this stream here. I think that's good enough. I think you get the point. So you don't have to have a 4-cable method to use the Gigboard. I know it does have it there, but you can really do everything you need just with the ins and outs, using the effects return of an amplifier, or going into the front end of the amp and keeping it kind of clean and allowing the Gigboarder, the headrush, to provide all the tone stack capabilities and all your overdrive and delay and, you know, whatever modulation effects that you want. Alright, so this is Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you want to help support me and my efforts here on YouTube, then be sure to check out the description down below. And you'll find a cool link where you can get a nice t-shirt.
and your added support will help me make a lot more cool videos. Please check out the link, and I'll see you in the next video.